Day. Welcome everyone to round 2 of the final F123 season as a whole. And then we got to F124 at the end of next month. Or something, maybe just a little later than that. I'm not entirely 100% sure on the release date, admittedly. Should probably pay a little bit more attention to that. Right, we're just going to load in now into qualifying here in Australia. Hope everyone is all well and good. Tier 1 here, F1. Second round, following on from last week. Mitchell won the race. Stell was in second. I believe the R4 was in third. So there was a huge chance of a good title fight in before Mitchell has missed this race. That is a very, very heavy bit of rain. We might be in immediate weather here. It might even be heavier than that. There's puddles in the pit lane. So there's a lot of ifs and buts now in this one, and a lot of rain to come as well. Whether it is just qualifying, whether it is just whether it impacts the race as well, not entirely sure as of yet. I'm also hoping that my PS5 doesn't blow up in the middle of all this again. It looks like it's going to be staying like this for a while, so we are seeing people come out. I think this is going to be on wet tires. They are coming out on wet tires. So we're going to watch. It looks like Menley's the first one out. For those who are new to the channel, well, we watched the first person out of the pit lane on their out lap and then their flying lap, provided they're obviously first to the line. Give the first person out a little bit of spotlight at the end of the day. And it looks like that's going to be Menley this time. He's got Steger not that far behind him. Steger's probably going to have to back off just a little bit just so it doesn't get into it with the Red Bull here. I think we've got, yeah, so Sarge and M are the other two cars out on track. A couple of guys heading out of the pit lane into turn 1 now as the rain is pouring on down here in Australia. It looks like we're just going through at the moment. Just getting to the final touches of the outlaps now before we actually get some proper actual laps going as Menley is about to come to the line now. Hello, Rigo. How is it going? And here we go to the line now. Yellow flag. It's a sector 3 as someone did the wall back there. And I think that's Steger in the final corner, having an absolute nightmare at the start of his lap. Just bringing my mic away from my mouth at the moment. Just realized how close it was. It looks like, Steger did crash into the wall. He somehow survived that. That should probably have been the end of his quali right there and then. That looked like a pretty heavy shunt. Seeming like that's a common thing with Mercedes in Australia by the looks of things. And they look like Menley just invalidated his lap. So we're just going to shift off of him right now and go, I think, to is the next one. Mitchell is with his girlfriend. That's the last time I knew. Going through. M's currently the one the closest to the line. We're on the wet tyres. It's just all over the place. Nobody seems to be able to keep their car in control in this first lap here. Yes, Rigo, that did happen. It looked like almost just playing with fire a little bit there. He will be the one that sets the first bar here in qualifying. Menley is off the track. Well, he invalidated his first lap, so his lap here won't count. Which means that this will be on pole position for a short while until we have someone else hit the line. We go to the line. It's a 32.3 here for Eminator. That's going to be BR4 behind, so we're going to watch Scalzi. We've got a couple other guys that will be heading toward the line. Steger is one of them, but Steger will have to go into the pits because he absolutely obliterated his car coming out the final corner. Also, another one into the pits as well, I think. That might have been Sarge that just dove into the pits. I think it was. Here comes the Red Bull of Nakuza to start his lap now. Scalzi the next one to the line. Scalzi has started his lap already and he's going towards the end of his lap even. Is he going to be able to beat to the line? He is by just under 3/10 of a second. So that was a very short-lived provisional pole position there for Scalzi as Millsy does a 31.2. And it puts him in provisional pole position. We've got a couple of guys on the track right now heading toward the line. Let's see if there's an improvement coming here in terms of the time. Jack does a 31.9. That's 7/10 slower. Here comes Benny to the line as well. That's only a 32.8 BR4. Also coming sooner rather than later, Bloodwave just started a lap, I believe. You know, Alu, who's on a qualifying ban, so he's got to sort himself out in this one before Nakuza now comes to the line. Nakuza's the next one to the line. Is he going to be able to beat that 31.2? Millsy currently on provisional pole. It's actually Menley's the next one to the line, who did a 31.6. So it puts him second. That looked awfully wide for BR4. And that is still going to be enough for a provisional pole position for BR4. Just about, though. Millsy's got a chance today. Stell also here and there and thereabouts. It looks like Nakuza's trying to have a drift competition in the rain here. As we go down to the line, is he going to be able to do anything here? 31, 32, 32.7. Enough to beat Benny, but nothing else. Alu is out of the session. He had a qualifying man. Who's the next one to the line? There's going to be Big 10. Next one onto the line. 31.6 then for Scalzi. He puts him up into fourth. He'll take that. He'll take that for certain if he was to start there. That's for sure. He got yellow flags left, right, and centre all over the place right now. And big turns to the line is a 33.1. Now it's going to be Stell, the next one, the championship rival here to BR4. Looked like Bloodwave had a bit of a nightmare, and it's a 30.7. for Stell. And Big Turds is out of the session. Big Turds has crashed. Big Turds has crashed to turn one, and yeah, you can see the parking of his car there. That did not look good. Stell did a 30.7. Bloodwave did a 30.5. This is huge right now. Menley's into the pits. Who's the next one that's going to follow it? Go round. M's invalidated lap, so there's no real point continuing looking at him. Then it's BR4. Has BR4 got more in him? He's currently down by 4/10 on his lap, so it doesn't look like the answer to that is yes. The answer actually is yes, but it's not enough to even catch Stell, so he's going to be routed to third position at the moment. He's got to try and find something sooner rather than later. Steger about to start his lap, and we're actually going to give Steger a little bit of the limelight now, considering we saw him. We saw him crash into the wall in the final corner. But we'll see whether or not he can improve. Well, he can stop himself from doing that this time. Got a couple of. We've gone through the first sector now with Steger. He's still kept the car in check this time round. He got past his outlap, which is where he made a mistake. that cost him his entire first stint on the first go round when we were watching, I believe it was Menley who came out first. We've got a few drivers that are going on here. I think that was Benny and Bloodwave. I think Benny just did a 32.0, so an improvement for him. Takes him up a couple of positions. One of the Aston Martins into the pits, I believe, should be... yeah, it's Jack that's coming to the pits. I don't think we'll be too far away from doing the same. But we also have an Alfa Romeo as well coming to the line. It's going to be and then I think it's Roller. Yeah, Roller's on an outlap there. No, it's actually BR4 heading into the pits. Then we've got an AlphaTauri now heading to the line. Is he going to be able to improve on his time? It's Jay Sarge with a 32.4. It's only good enough for 10th as we watch Steger to the line now. Is it good? Is it good? It's not that good. It's a 31.4 for Steger, which is slower than and that basically says everything you need to know. Nakusta to the line, not able to improve. Also, the Alfa Romeo of Roller just started his lap now as well. I think there's a Ferrari in the pits. Mercedes just about to head in that direction as well. And there he's just headed into the pits. So that means that's going to be... I think that was Mildy that's just come to the line. Can't tell whether or not that was an improvement of a lap, but he just definitely didn't do an awful lot. We got Shadow who just who must have invalidated his time and gets to go for broke now. We got a McLaren to the line next. It's going to be Benny at 31.3. That's good enough to put him 5th right now. He would definitely take that starting position. Had a good race last week, a beneficiary of that late safety car and basically the entire grid's penalties as well. So we're just trying to figure out whether or who's going to have an actual say in the championship this season. We're currently on race 2, so there's rain at the end of the race apparently, according to Bloodwave in chat. So we do have rain in qualifying. There's a very heavy amount of rain in qualifying. With all the cars out right now, kind of trying to clear it up. That's a bit deep, and that's going to be an invalidation there for Roller. Let's see if Nakusa can improve. We've got an AlphaTauri right behind that. I think there's going to be Mildy, the car behind, so we're going to have a look at him. It's not an improvement for Nakusa as we watch Mildy to the line now. He had a really close time at the beginning. He's now 7/10 off. But it's good now, and that 7/10 has come off the board, and he is currently on provisional pole position. Well, that's a lap and a half there, 30.5. He beats Bloodwave for now. As we see Shadow fighting his way through, just about saving his car in the pit lane as Dell to the 30.1 and puts himself on top of the world right now. I believe it was second. He got second in the first race. Currently on provisional pole now. A lot that could go right in the next couple of minutes here for Stell. Bearing in mind the guy that won the first race is not here for the second one. But we're going through, we're watching Steger right now. I think there's a couple of people to the line. BR4 just salted up to the line now. He's just started his flying lap, and that's going to be Sarge that goes into the pits. I think there's Menley's the car directly behind. Yes, it is, because Nakusa is directly behind Steger here. And Steger is nowhere near as quick in this lap. So, we're going to go to BR4, who currently sits himself in a good position, albeit nowhere near where he would want to be. He ended 3rd in the first race, so he's got a little bit of ground to catch up. Will pass Mitchell in this race unless he DNFs. And if he's going to DNF, he probably wants to take Stell with him. But then we're going through now, second sector. He's currently 7/10 up here, BR4. 7/10 puts him into pole position. No, that's actually one intermediate tyre so far. One for Jack, who's just sat there waiting for the track to possibly dry up a little bit. But the rest of the grid is currently not on those tyres. Just the one at the moment. Everyone else on the wets. BR4 currently 7 and nearly 8 tenths up through the first couple of sectors. He might be able to put himself on pole here. He's currently right neck and neck with Stell through 2, through 3. It's good. It's definitely good. An entire second, and BR4 29.7 puts himself into that provisional pole position. No stopping him now. Steger is still slower, so not very clear whether or not we are in terms of a lap here. Mitchell has joined halfway through the qualifying session. If he's quick, he might be able to get one run at this. Big Turns has left the session, which is quite a alternative situation that happened there. Still got 4 minutes left of the session. One McLaren getting out the way of the other. That's Benny getting out the way of his teammate. As we currently watch in this one, Mitchell has just got in hold of his car. So there's the championship leader who's just showed up at the end of this qualifying session. But for now, here comes Bloodwave. Can he improve on what BR4 did? 29.7. It would be impressive. He's got to find a ton of time, nearly an entire second. And it's not time that he's found. He's only done a 30.1, and that puts him right beside Stell. Menley's is currently not on a quick lap. Skeldy has invalidated his. He currently sits in 7th. He'll take that if he starts there. Terminator currently 2 tenths up. That would be enough to take him up into 8th, but nothing more. Got a couple of other guys that haven't set times right now, just about to head out onto the track here to try and figure something out. We've got about 2.5 minutes left of this one to see if people can get out sooner rather than later. That should have been invalidated, but I guess the rain will help him out just a little bit there. I don't think he's on a particularly fast lap though in this one. The Aston Martin currently got a bunch of guys just trying to figure their way through at the moment. One Mercedes has just come to the line, so that's Aries who's just started a lap. I think Stell as well, and under the 31.124, and he beat Skeldy by 0.02 of a second as his teammate now comes to the line to start his flying lap. Skeldy, the next one to the line, but he's invalidated his lap, so he's got to go for one more. And then I think that's Benny Bono. It's not Benny Bono, it's Bloodwave afterwards. So let's see if Bloodwave has anything in the bank here. No, he does not. Next one to the line after that is currently BR4, who also doesn't really have anything left in the tank. It's going in, and that will be the end of the day for BR4 in this qualifying session. He is 4 tenths up, so he is currently in provisional pole position, but he isn't going to get another shot. Here comes Steger to the line. Steger's about to start his flying lap. Will do with a little bit of glee there. Then you've got Shadow also starting his lap, and I'm not entirely sure which version of the AlphaTauri was there, and Menley is out of the session. He is out, crashed on the final corner. I think that's Mitchell, the next one. Sargent out of the session as well as he crashes in turn 1. Wow, left, right, and centre. People just crashing all over the place in this one. Nakusta is out. He is in the pit lane, so he won't be able to get out. He wouldn't have been able to get out for another one anyway. Roller just over the line, I believe. Then you've got Stell, I think that was, who just didn't get a good enough run of that one. Steger is still flying as well. We're currently heading towards the final couple of final laps, I think, in this session. Skeldy was up, but he just licked the car there in the back. And that was not good news for him. As we go through, and he's just shy, he's just slow, just shy, slightly slower. We go about 5 seconds. Will Bloodwave get to the line? He will get to the line. So we are now on final laps. Who is the first Mercedes? So Steger is currently going to be the first one to the line. He is up through 2 sectors, but he's not up to make his position change anything. So, to the line he goes. Can he find another second, pretty much, to realistically do anything to BR4? The answer is no. He can only get himself to a 30.5. Now it's an Alpine, to the line, which is Shadow. He's got to the line, and it's not a particularly good lap for him. Now it's a Ferrari. Mitchell did not do anything in the qualifying session. After joining with 4 minutes to go, he invalidated his time and will start at the back of the grid. So did Aries. As we come to the line, Mildy is quicker, but not quick enough again. And now it's Roller's turn, who goes into the pits. The Alfa Romeo. I think there's Stell to the line now, who just isn't getting anything because he is sliding all over the place. So that's the end of his day. Is in the pits. I think the Merc has gone in behind him and also got into the pits. Aries will actually be the one that starts at the back, followed by Mitchell and then Alu. So Mitchell got a long way to deal with his championship charge here. Go through, Skeldy now into the pits, and Jack also going as well. So Bloodwave, who isn't on a lap, which means BR4 has done it. He is on provisional pole in Australia. Came third in Austria. And, well, now is on pole in Australia, with Bloodwave alongside him on the front row. Stell and Mildy in third and fourth. And the current championship leader joining late has a long, long way to go with rain at the end of this. Oh, pardon me. With rain at the end of this race. So we'll see what is actually going to happen and what unfolds as we go along. We're just getting to the end of the qualifying session now, just waiting on Bloodwave. And there you go, Bloodwave to the line is going to roll this one over, and that will confirm it. That is by a tenth of a second, a Bloodwave front row and a BR4 pole. But the championship is going to get a little bit spicy this season, I think. Stell also in third. Stell came second in the first race, remember. He had all the lead in the world before a safety car came in and wrecked any of his chances of winning. So we'll see what can happen in the rest of this one. Yeah, so BR4 from Bloodwave, front row. Stell from Mildy in the second row. Steger from Menlids in the third row. He actually ended his qualifying session early, Menlids, after a crash and somehow gets away with it, starting in sixth position. So there's a lot that will happen in this race. There's going to be crashes, no doubt. And I'm also guessing that people will set up for the wet at the end of the race. So we'll have a variation of strategy as well, I think. There's also a lot of anticipation for the people who could be fighting for a championship this season. Bearing in mind, BR4 is the reigning champion. We're just waiting for everyone to pick a strategy by the looks of things here. Yeah, a mostly dry race after a qualifying session, which was an absolute mess because of the rain. It's going to be interesting. But here's 5 red lights. It's lights out, away we go. So someone's got off to a flying start here in the Red Bull. Nakuzda is off to one hell of a start, but it's BR4 that's going to take the lead into turn 1, and then you've got Stell, who overtakes Bloodwave, who's been overtaken by Milsey as well, as Milsey heads to the top 3, and we've got a yellow flag in the back, which I think is Benny, considering he's starting to drop off the lead. It's also Alu, because Alu has just got himself at the back of the grid again. And here comes Bloodwave and Milsey, and those two may have just come together as well. Sarge picks up 3 already for multiple track limits. That's impressive in about 5 corners. And you got Steger and Manleads, who's currently in 6th and 5th, and they're fighting each other, and Jack's just gone past the Red Bull as well as he moves his way through the grid. Mitchell up in the 15th, Aries up in the 16th, and they've already gained an extra position as well, given that Sarge is right in front of them, and Sarge has got 3-second time penalty. Here comes Jack, who's going against Steger. They're going to go side by side into the chicane, which is not the easiest decision to make in the first place. And Mildy is going to be the biggest one that loses out there, as Mildy drops to 7th. Aries gets past Mitchell, which is a good scalp to take for the Mercedes early. We're currently going through this. Bloodwave a second back on Stell and BR4 already. So the two that you would expect at the beginning of qualifying, given that we didn't know Mitchell was here. And there goes Mildy again, this time with Nakuzda, who I think they both went off the track. That might go to the stewards. I'm not entirely sure what happened there. Yeah, and Benny Bono directly behind, and then you've got Skildy in the Ferrari right behind that. Manleads and Steger go at each other. They're going through turn 1. That's a little bit of a tap from the Mercedes on the Red Bull. As we're going to go down now towards 3, and they're still side by side. Around the outside goes Manleads, but it's done with contact laden and not hastily done in the end. Picks up 3 seconds now. We've got a vastly different amount of actual tyre strategy here, as we've got 4 guys on the mediums, half the remaining on 4 guys on the soft, sorry, half the remaining on the mediums, half the remaining on the hards. As Steger, as Sarge, sorry, picks up another 3 seconds, which is somehow extremely impressive. Roller drops to the back of the grid, even though he's on fresher tyres than Alu. As we're starting to see people start to make their way through. Jack is also on the soft tyre. Here comes Steger and Manleads. Manleads on the outside, on the medium tyre, looking pretty good. A little bit of a collision there between the two of them, but this is going to be Manleads' corner. Yeah, and Steger's just going to have to sit back, because that was a good little bit of movement there by Manleads to get himself into a position where that was going to work. It does mean that he is a year and a half off of Bloodwave, who currently sits himself in 4th. A big turn but here as well. He currently sat himself in 7th after a early qualifying exit after crashing. Here comes big turn to the inside. Big turn to the inside of Steger. A little bit of contact again, but nothing that's going to harm either car. And big turn goes on through without question. You have Shadow and Aries fighting it out left and right here, and that's going to allow Mitchell to go through the hole. Aries picks up 3 for track limit warnings, and Mitchell goes through the hole on the inside. And now it's going to be Mitchell versus P Shadow, as they head down into the straight now. Well, I say into the straight as if this is not a widening straight. As here comes Mitchell now. He's going to go for this. He's got his teammate directly in front. His teammate giving him a little bit of slip. They're going to go side by side. Mitchell is in front of P Shadow and making his way through the grid. He needs to get himself into a good position here, considering there will be rain at the end apparently, as Scaldy just lets Mitchell on through relatively easily. So that's another 2 positions gained for Mitchell. There's 7 guys on the hard tyres. They should be able to go. If there's rain, they should be fine in this race. We're going through. It's got who's getting close to Benny Bono in front of him. He is on the soft tyres compared to Benny's mediums, and just does not go for that. It looks like Sarge has got past Shadow, and Aries overtaken by Alu, as we've got fighting at the back here. Alu doing enough to hold off that Mercedes as long as possible. Also, the guys at the front still hanging on to each other right now. As we're seeing Aries try and push past this Williams, trying to get as much as he can It doesn't look like he's doing a solid job of it right now. It looks like Alu is just putting his car where he needs to put it as Aero comes to the inside now. And he will get in front of Alu here into the chicane, and that's a pretty good move from the Mercedes. As we head further up the grid, Steger gets by. Yakuza got past a Mildy not long ago. It looks like Jack is also trying to challenge the front three. The front two, sorry. Mitchell currently in 12th, caught up to the back of M. He would get past them on penalties right now, but he realistically needs to start making his way through the grid as much as we can. Yakuza is flat right beside Mildy here. It doesn't look like anything happened. M's going to pick up another 3 though, so M and Mitchell are going to fight this one out as they head down. So there's a safety car. Who is the cause of the safety car? What's the issue? That's a Ferrari without a front wing, and that's Mitchell. That's Mitchell without a front wing. And all the progress that was made has just disappeared again. Wow. And everyone they got at the front, well, they've managed to, maybe just been screwed a little bit there. If I was Jack, those hard tires would look enticing right about now. Alright, safety car, so let's see who goes in, if anyone at all. It might be too early. Jack's going to dive in, Bloodway's going to dive in, all 4, the front is actually going to dive in, so does Menley. Steger turned late, but decides to go as well. Big turns. Basically everyone but Mildy, and then Mildy is here playing for that safety car, that rain at the end of this race. Alu and Roller have stayed out. So, we have 3 guys right now who stayed out on their tyres. Oh no, Roller's gone in, sorry. So, 2 that stayed out on the tyres. Alu jumps up into 7th right now. Mildy takes the lead of the race. Also, Sarge stayed out on his tyres. Did not see that. So, 3 that stayed out. Sarge in 3rd, Mildy in 1st. Maybe a little bit of AlphaTauri action Alright, now we're just waiting for everyone to get caught back up to this safety car. It'll go probably on lap, I would say lap 7. I think we might be able to get to here in time. It's going to be close. Actually, no, that's the safety car line. Wait, that's early. At the end of the 2nd sector even, that's early. That does not look like a representative sector, but it is. Which means the safety car would be called in relatively soon. Skelding and Roller could get on the back here. We could have an extremely late safety car call in. No, it's too late now. Too late now for that safety car to come in. Way too late coming into the corner. So we will go again on lap 8 here. We're just going through in the middle of lap 7 now. It's just everything's starting to alter itself a little bit now, and you can see that some people are starting to play a little bit of strategy. Maybe the brain is the brain at the end of this race, if there is any, will come into play here. And we're going again, so everyone has to make their way through this entire grid all over again, especially the back. If you're BR4 and Stell, well, you're not exactly particularly happy with the safety car, but you're also not particularly sad about where you are in this race either. Given that the Mildy and Sarge are both not pit already. Those two should make easy pickings in this one. On this safety car restart, which will start on this lap. It does actually pull that message up like way before the actual safety lane. Is the pit lane, which is relatively interesting. And now Mildy's going to start backing everybody and anyone up just so he can get himself a pretty good get himself a run here on BR4. He's definitely going to need it. Absolutely going to need this. Need it at some point in this race. Well, I say at some point they need it now. BR4 is going to be on him really quick here. It looks like we're about ready to go. When will Mildy go? Will he go now? He's still there, and he's not gone yet. If he had gone yet, this would be a really bad time for him to have gone. He's actually gone now, so everyone bunched back up. It's a relatively interesting starting point. He didn't really get much of anything there whatsoever as Alu goes down, and then a yellow flag immediately. I think there's a bit of a problem there for Sarge. I think there's a bit of a problem there for Alu as well. And there goes Bloodwave. Manley's almost tapped him round, and that was almost disaster. Manley picked up 3 for track limits as well. So Alu, again, the yellow flag in the first sector. He was at the beginning of the race, he is now as well. Manley's going to the outside now on Sarge, and he does get by. And we've got Steger there and thereabouts as well. They head down toward this chicane. Looks like Steger is going to be on the outside, but still gets it done with relative ease there on the outside. Mitchell and Shadow gets past Nakutsa there down the straight. It looks like a few people starting to make their way through. Mildy and Stell going at it, and that will allow for Stell to go through as Mildy goes deep. Forced a little bit deep there, I think, because Jack goes through as well, and that was not good news for Stell and for BR4 that Jack went through. He would have preferred that he had stayed behind. He actually didn't go through in the end. I think Bloodwave managed to just put enough in there, same with Mildy, to hold him off. And that is actually what has happened. Mildy is still in 3rd, Bloodwave in 4th, Jack in 5th right now, as they're going against each other. Bloodwave down and round against Mildy and gets it done as Jack's going to try and follow through the hole and isn't successful in doing so. We've got a very interesting race unfolding. Mitchell again overtaking Skildy up in the 14th. Now he's got a few guys to try and get past. As we got Jack against Mildy, and Mildy just suffering from his tyres now. That's just going to let everyone blast on by without much of an issue. But BR4 got away from Stell. We know Stell does a lot better in the rain than BR4 does. Especially on intermediate tyres anyway. That's what we saw last week. Stell had a stunning amount of race pace in the wet conditions at Austria. Mitchell and P Shadow are going at each other now. Those two are going to go at each other, and they go, oh my god! And they've collided! Mitchell on the outside, Shadow on the inside, and I think Shadow just tapped the outside, tapped the rear of that Ferrari, and they've both gone round, and they're both in trouble in terms of this race from this point onwards. A little bit of a safety car necessary for them now. Here comes Benny against Sarge. Sarge on the inside is going to have a nice run, but Benny is going to hang his tyres in there as much as possible, and he couldn't really get by. Wow. That is going to be a very controversial one in this race. Especially when Mitchell is Well, Mitchell won race 1, so you have to think he would be a championship contender if he shows up every week. Not to forget that he is also a 2-time back-to-back champion before BR4 won on this game. So BR4 defending the championship. Mitchell's won a couple. He's a former champion. Stell has had a couple of title fights, but been on the losing end of them all. And that was a little bit deep there for a little bit of a squeeze there from Steger and Mildy, and Steger gets by as a result. And Mildy is just plummeting down this leaderboard as we see Menleys and Steger just trying to battle it out, trying to get themselves back into that fight with Jack, who's currently in 4th and is hanging onto the back of the front 3. You know, Benny in the back, in the midfield there as well, trying to make something happen. Mitchell and Shadow not unfortunately in this race anymore, unless a safety car is going to happen here, and then they have to fight back through the rest of the grid. And Jack picked up 3 for track limits. So Sarge and Benny! And Benny's round! And I would love to see a second angle of that one. I didn't actually get to see what happened to Benny there, but Benny is the one that goes round there, and I have reason to believe that was a collision with Sarge, but I'm not entirely sure until I see it again. Yellow flag in sector 3 of the Ferrari again! And that is Mitchell once more. And this is what not practicing does to a man. They currently watch Mitchell go back into the pits, and Steger and Menleys are going at each other, and those two are colliding! And oh my Jesus, how that did not end in a collision in terms of an actual spin or someone in a wall is impressive. That was almost disastrous from those two. And Mitchell is out of the race, so your championship leader will be a different person from the end of this one, unless somehow BR4 or Stell or a combination of those 3 at the front of the grid somehow manage to kill each other, as they are right beside each other right now, and Jack is off the pace. And he gets past Alu. We are currently seeing yellow flags in sector 1, left, right and centre. Manley doing a good enough job as well to hold off Steger for the point in time. The real question is, if you're Steger, when are you choosing to make this move? You can't stay too far for too long, because he's starting to pull. Well, Jack's starting to pull on Menleys, and that means that you're losing out on positions here. You're losing out on a potential podium. Which means he's got to do something. He's got to do something soon, and it looks like he's going to try it now. Here comes Steger, and he goes by into the chicane there, and he gets it done. As the Merc goes past the Red Bull here on lap 12. We're continuing on through right now. Nakuza just got past Sarge, and that looked like it was very easy. But Sarge is going to fight this back because Nakuza made a mistake, a pretty bad mistake there on the outside. In the beginning of sector 3, he holds off Skildy for now. Shadow picks up 3 for track limits, even though he is 30 seconds off the pace. And we're currently watching a 3-way battle right now. Nakuza and Skildy will eventually get that position on Sarge. Sarge does have to pit at some point. But for now, Sarge is going to hold that position. Estelle takes the lead of the race into turn 4. He gets it. Here comes Nakuta on the inside of Sarge as he moves up into 11th place now. And Stell is now in the lead of this race. Bloodwave has got the blood between his, well, he can smell blood in the water now. He's going to go after BR4, who's getting a little bit of a reel from Stell overtaking him. Here comes Bloodwave to the inside of the chicane. Is he going to be able to do it? No, he's not. But he goes for a little bit of a switchback attempt, and that isn't going to work either. BR4 doing just about enough. Now to the inside of this corner, and Bloodwave just sits himself deep so he can actually hold on as Skills he goes past Nakuta. Also, Sarge and Skills are going at it. Those two go through the final sector now, as I think Nakuta just lost. Skills has just lost out to Nakuta. Has just taken 12th back. So, Stell. Well, the end of the race last week he had all the pace, and narrowly unable to beat out Mitchell in the rain after the 3-second penalty and the safety car and everything else. The game did not want him to win that week. He is currently in the lead of this one now. Stell has been in a position of challenging for a title before. It was him versus Logan. But at one point, it didn't end too well. And Logan being our trucker for those who aren't particularly well versed in the history of the league. But we're continuing on at the moment. So, Stealth and BR4 from Bloodway. Currently the top three. Jack got penalties. He's clearing the Steger right now, and so his penalties are a mute point. Up to this point, P Shadow picks up another 3 as if they're not already so far behind. After his collision with Mitchell, which is going to be very, very much talked about afterwards. And we've got a few attempts at an overtake, I think, happening sooner rather than later. Sargent now headed into the pits. Milty being one of those attempting an overtake into turn 3 now. He got alongside. He is on the outside, though. And he gets it to go against Menley's there. And it's good news for Milty. Those tyres are somehow still functioning 14 laps in. Enough for an overtake anyway. And he's not lost enough time on the guys around him either. So Aries is starting to follow his way through, and Big Turns is here as well after being on the soft for the early portion of this race. Akuza picks up 3, which means Skeldy is not going to be complaining because everyone around him's got penalties. And here comes Manley's back on Mildy, and he gets that one relatively easily down the winding straight here. And Mildy has got to fight that back before he picks up 3. And we've got penalties galore in this one. Oh, the part of me that if the rain came now, this could be very interesting as well, in terms of what is going to happen with the penalties and everything of that nature. But we continue on in the dry here, Australia. And Stell is 4 tenths of a second ahead of BR4, and 4 tenths of a second ahead of Bloodwave. Then you've got Jack nowhere to be seen behind it. BR4 versus Bloodwave is a move that has just happened there for Bloodwave, who's got up into second. And that's really good news if you're Stell. Because he got a substantial boost. He got 3 points last week. It's going to be a substantial amount more this week, and that would be an early gap that he would love to have at the beginning of this championship if he can hold on from here. We're on lap 16 of 29. Over halfway through. And surprisingly, we've only had one safety car right now. And so we got Medley's holding off from Mildy. Mildy got relatively close. He is still relatively close now. He's on the outside of Medley's. Mildy versus Menley as we go through, and Mildy on the outside with the better exit. That's a beautiful move to manage to keep the car, actually keep it turning. It's a pretty good one there with the tyres as old as they are. 5 lap older than everyone else on the grid is a difficult one to hold, that's for certain. But one that he's holding pretty well right now as we go 5 into this one, as a couple of guys are having a bit of a problem back there. I think one of them is the Ferrari of Skelzy, who did not look particularly good coming out of the final corner there. As we're now going down into turn 3 with the group we've currently got. And oh, that did not look too good. A collision there between Big Turns and Menleys. And somehow I think he's managed to avoid damage as we got a yellow flag with Sarge in the final couple of corners. And Menleys is dropped all the way out of this group, dropped to the back of him. We've got a move happening at the front of this race now, and Bloodway has hit the lead of the race here. He's got ahead of Stell. BR4 here as well, and Sarge is out. Sarge is out of this race, so we're down 2. We still only had the singular safety car, which did not bring about a DNF. We gotta continue rolling it on. Sargent's currently there, down to turn 1. This could get interesting if that car isn't sorted before the leading pack gets to it. It looks like it has been. And yeah, you can see it parked off to the side. We've got Bloodwave from Stealth and BR4, still the leader of this race. The Steger has now got within that gap for then necessary from Jack to get himself a 4th place. But it looks like that's all he's going to get, considering these 3 at the front of the grid are gone. Well in the distance now. We also got a little bit of a pack unfolding there in the middle from Millsy backwards. It's Estelle to the outside now, and I think that Bloodwave has gone round! And it is Bloodwave that's gone round! Oh, and there's definitely a collision there between Bloodwave and Stell. There's no question about that. I need a second look again at some of these just to make sure that I saw that right. But it definitely looked like contact between the 2 of them. Skeldy and Nakuza are fighting their way through and trying to figure out where they lie. As Menley gets back past as he is now on the outside in the back of the picture. And all of a sudden, Stell has managed to put him in a position where it's him versus BR4. Which is probably the opposite of what he wanted to do. He probably wanted Bloodwave as a buffer. He definitely didn't want Bloodwave to spin, and definitely didn't want BR4 on the back of him so quickly. So these 2 are going to go hammer and tongue to each other now. And there's no one that can stop them. There's no one in any sort of any close distance whatsoever right now. So we are just going to have 2 heavyweights go at this as yellow flags in sector 3. Looked like there might have been P-Shadow. Here comes BR4. Round the inside. Now to the outside. Going into the chicane and makes it look very, very easy. And it looked like, BR4 is now in control for a little bit. 19 of 29 if the rain's coming. It needs to come soon, otherwise it's going to be a non-factor. We've got yellow flag to sector 1, and I think that Shadow again is just not having a nice time with this whatsoever. So we've got also got Jack and Bloodwave and Steger. They're going to be fighting now, considering Bloodwave is the DRS of Jack and Steger's in the DRS of Bloodwave. So Bloodwave has now got to fight for that podium rather than actually fighting for the lead of this race. Still got a 5-way train in the middle of the pack as well from Aries all the way back to Menley's in 10th. Skeldy got past Nakuza again, albeit that won't. They seem to be flip-flopping all the time at this point in time. Stell looked like a little bit deep there. He needs to get himself in a little bit of a rhythm. Just to get himself close enough to BR4. And he's going to get himself close enough to BR4 with the DRS to get himself in front of BR4. And on lap 20, Stell reassumes the lead of the race and in turn reassumes the lead of the championship. These 2 are going to go back and forth all season. I think that's blatantly obvious. They seem to have a similar pace, whereas last season BR4 was just running away. Baraka didn't show up enough. Mitchell didn't show up enough. So BR4 kind of went unchallenged for a championship. He's going to have a challenger this time. And he knows about it already. Stell was flying at Austria. He's now flying here. He is in the lead of this race. They're heading down towards turn 1. He probably needs a little bit more of a gap than he has now, though, just to get himself in a position where he can stave off the DRS later on. And then you've got Bloodwave, who's just got past Jack, up into the third position of this race. And Nakuza gets past albeit has just gone into the pit lane. It looks like everyone who was playing for the rain is going to be sorely mistaken. That did not look good there for Bloodwave, who's a little bit of a slide coming out of 4. We've got a little bit of a battle here. We've got a battle for the lead. We've got a battle for 7th, for 6th as well, actually. The rain's a few cars back. Albeit Big Turns will probably end up winning that battle because everyone and anyone in that battle has a penalty. So Big Turns might be in for a big day here. But for now, Bloodwave is currently here. Scaled, he's got ahead of Benny Bono. Is currently in, it puts him up into 11th. I don't think he's going to be complaining too much of this stance, as Nakuza directly in front of him still. There he gets past Mildy. They're still side by side going into here. The outside line has worked significantly so far today, and it's going to work again. They're still side by side going through this corner though, and Mildy makes his presence known. Make sure he knows he's there. And Aries is going to have to fight tooth and nail around the outside here just to get himself in a good position to get past. He got the DRS. Mildy does not. And that will mean that there's going to be multiple overtakes on that AlphaTauri, because Big Turns is going to be there as well to pick up the pieces and get by without much of an issue. As we head down the straight now into turn 3, and again, Mildy, the one without the DRS, because the detection point's all the way up at the final corner. And you just cannot you cannot make the move there if you don't have the DRS, and that's going to be easy pickings in the end. Aries is going to drive off now. Big Turns is there as well. Skildy just gets past Benny Bunno once again. Also got Mildy against Big Turns here to head down the straight. Let's see who can keep the width with them for the longest. And that looks like the rain. The rain is starting to come down. Aries on the inside. Aries is still here. He's still side by side with Big Turns, who loses out massively. It looked like Mildy just went very, very deep as well, as Menley just the one that actually wins out, who gets back up into 6th, as he was nowhere a minute ago. I think the rain just started. There was a flicker on my screen, and the rain has in fact started here on lap 23. The real question is it going to get heavy enough to force anything here? Or is everyone just going to sit here and stay the course for as long as humanly possible? It looks like a couple of people have decided to pit onto intermediates. This could be a very interesting decision. If it pays off, it could be huge. If it doesn't pay off, then, well, that's just shooting themselves in the foot at the end of the day. But it's the guys that were fighting for 6th place, realistically, that did it. Plus Alu, who had realistically nothing to lose anyway. Stell and BL4 are still here. They're still out. They're still raining. It's still not well enough to make any sort of that decision in such a vein already, especially when you've got a race win on the line. We go down into turn 1. They're still pretty much right beside each other right now. Stell and BR4, they're 2/10 of a second. That's a car directly in front, getting out on the intermediate tires, which is not going to be a benefit right now. But BR4 goes for it, but goes really deep. And it allows for Stell to hang on for a split second longer on lap 24 here against BR4. Stell is just hanging on for dear life. The Alfa Romeo in front of them is BR4's teammate. Roller is getting out of the way, albeit they ghosted anyway, so it isn't really relevant. It will, however, screw over BR4 here, because it's going to be Stell with the slipstream as well. Because they were both beside Roller, and Roller gave them both, Roller gave Stell the slipstream, and then Stell obviously gave BR4 it, DRS even. And here we go down the straight again, as the detection zone is all the way back there. As we head down into the beginning of Sector 3, they're side by side, and BR4 takes the lead of the race. We have a yellow flag in Sector 1 for being and not being able to drive. As we continue on here, BR4 heading into lap 25 has the advantage. It's a slight advantage, but an advantage nonetheless. I would believe this puts BR4 at the top of the championship through 2. As we continue down towards turn 2 now. It looked like Stell trying to go after him here. Stell was definitely trying to go after BR4, but BR4 is quite literally hanging on for dear life here. They're both seemingly trading positions as we go along. You see everyone and anyone's got penalties down at the back of the grid, including Jack and Menley's in 5th and 6th as well. And Benny and Nakusta decided to pit. This is not a wet enough track, remotely wet enough track. Yeah, Stell hits the front of the grid now. And Stell, either one of these guys, when they hit the front, would be hoping for the rain to be heavy enough, but it won't be heavy enough, and it still isn't enough at all for this to do anything in terms of the actual tracks, in terms of the pits, in terms of anything realistically. Steger is now in 3rd, Bloodwave in 4th right now as well. Bloodwave just got past Jack. Stell has the advantage as we head into the final couple of corners of 25. It's going into 26 now. It is a case of are we going to see a game of chicken here? Who's going to be the last one to realistically make a move? The last one to have a say in this one. The last one to have the advantage going over the line. These two are literally heavyweights fighting it out right now here in Australia. And well, Stell would be hoping for rain here, because if it goes to a rainy situation, Stell is definitely a better driver than BR4, I think, in the wet conditions. And I think I see droplets on the track, which means we have gone to intermediate conditions with DNFing and bringing out a safety car. Jesus Christ, what a way to neutralize the race. Impressive. It had just gone intermediate weather. We just have DRS. We were just about to get something really good. And then DNFs. Alright, well, I guess we're leading up for another safety car, albeit it will only be a singular lap on the said safety car. The pit stops are going to roll in now. So it's going to be Stell, BR4, Steger, Jack, any... Oh! Oh! Oh no! Oh no! Oh, everything's just got incredibly interesting now. Stell, fully aware. There's only one lap left. Onto this safety car. The intermediate's going on everyone else's car. I think he might get away with it. No, he's not. He's definitely not getting away with it. Not even close. Not even close. It's still going to be the case that BR4 is going to have to pass both Roller and Shadow. No question asked. Bloodwave's on the soft. He stayed out. This is going to get intermediate weather. This is not even close to slicks now. They're starting the formation of puddles on the track. That is a poor decision. And I don't understand why Stell made it. Stell is well aware that he needs to keep himself in the lead of this race. He has an incident with Bloodwave that will go to the stewards later on. He needed to be in front. He needed to be at the top of the list. And albeit he will stay in front of Steger by guarantee, he's not going to be able to keep in front of anyone here in terms of anyone massive. Here comes Steger onto the line as well now, and we're just going to get everyone pull up. Oh no, Stell may have made a horrible decision here. He's got to praise his teammate, does an absolute job here. Right now, it's not good news. Oh, they got the Ferrari into the wall as Skildy just dips himself on the final corner. Didn't even try, just straight up into the wall. And it looks like a couple of people, Skildy has had a bit of a, what the hell has happened to Skildy there? I can't tell what's going on. I think things are happening. I'm not entirely sure if things are happening. apparently Skeldy is existing here. I don't think that's true. Either way, there's a lot of things happening here. And I think Bloodway's off the track. And I think Steger may have had a problem too. Everything is just chaos. Bloodway's got a penalty, albeit that'll get removed. That's not his fault. It's just absolute carnage. And Stell still got it wrong, blatantly got it wrong. He's on the wrong tyres here. You can tell that here comes BR4 and here come the rest of the brigade as well. We go on to lap 28. Skeldy is somehow apparently in the lead of this race. I'm not entirely sure what is going on at this point. Oh, Estelle's got off the track! Estelle is now off the track! So BR4 has taken the lead of the race. I guess if Skeldy isn't actually... I don't even know what's going on at this point. I think Jack's second. That might be Mildy third. I'm not entirely sure. I don't know what's going on. It's existing. I don't know how I'm meant to commentate this because this game is just having an absolute seizure. I think everything is right minus Skeldy's because he's just got himself done lap maybe? Skeldy just decent. That would make sense. Stell is unfortunately ruining his mistake. It was a huge error. It was an error he did not have to make. I have no idea why he stayed out. He must have thought that the safety car would have taken less time. Albeit that you would have had to still go around the entire lap anyway. You just play it safe when you're dealing with a situation where you're the one leading the race. You just play it safe and you take everything that comes to you rather than having someone else take it for you. And Bloodway picks up another free. Stell way off the pace now. BR4, I believe, is in the lead of this race, albeit Skeldy is quite fun at least in the lead of this race if you talk about the grid on mine. And it looked like Skeldy's had a bit of a problem there. I don't know if that's actually desync. That is definitely desync. Jesus Christ, he's teleporting. But BR4 is definitely in the lead of this race, so at least I think he is anyway. Surely. I would be very surprised if he's not. As we go over for it's lap 29 now. Here we go, BR4. After Stell's mistake, BR4 not really had much control of this race. Somehow manages to find himself on top of the world in Australia. And on top of the world through two. Unless I'm completely wrong and Skeldy has actually won it, which would be absolutely hilarious, but I don't think that's the case. Jack gets second in the end, Steger third, Mildy fourth, Stell fifth, Benny sixth, Big Turn seventh, Bloodwave eighth. His day just went from bad to worse. I think there'll be a steward or two in there. Menley ninth, Aries 10th, Alu 12th, 11th, sorry, Nakusa 12th, Roller 13th, Shadow 14th, and I'm not going to name Skeldy until I know what actually happened. We died at three failed. That was just all over the place. There you go. Wow, that was just all over the place at the end. I apologize for being so confused. But I think that, I mean, we're going to have everything go through, and the Ferrari of Skeldy has apparently won the race. I mean, that's technically a classification that exists, I guess. But I'm pretty sure BR4's won. I apologize for the just utter confusion at the end of this race. I don't know what the hell's going on. I'm going to take it as BR4, Jack and Steger as your top three, but we'll wait and see. As we go along, Ferrari's strategy, yeah, teleport to the lead. That sounds about right. Alright, and that, I guess, brings to the end the actual racing today. It's been fun. A lot of penalties everywhere. It's been fun. I will see you guys this time next week for more Tier 1 action here in ALR. In a bit.